in the lead, the African Christian Democratic Party held a mass protest against the vaccine passport. The march left from Johannesburg City Central, bound for the Constitutional Court in Braamfontein. ACDP leader Reverend Kenneth Meshoe addressed supporters and said government had not been transparent about the COVID-19 vaccine. The party's Western Cape wing held demonstrations outside the provincial legislature, where Cape Town mayoral candidate Ferland Christian said the party opposed government's vaccine passport rollout. So for more on this, we're joined by the leader of the ACDP, Reverend Kenneth Meshoe. Very good morning to you, Reverend. Thank you so much for your time. You say that government is not being transparent. Which part of it should we understand as a nation?
Thank you very much for having me on your program to raise our concerns with what government has done and it has been doing. Firstly, when a vaccine is given to the public and the manufacturer said, I do not want to take responsibility for whatever injury or death that might result from it, and government agrees with that, that's not fair. That's not correct. If government spoke even in parliament and told members of parliament, for these reasons, we are saying these people will be indemnified. They didn't do that. That's the first thing that we have a problem with. Okay? Why are you allowing people to give the nation something that they don't want to take responsibility for? If things go wrong, is it the members of the public or is it taxpayers that must pay to remedy whatever will be the outcome of whatever is going to be used? That is definitely unfair. And the second thing, the ACDP has been asking about the contents of the vaccine. We know that if you go to any pharmacy, you go to any chemist, and you get something from the shelf, they will tell you the side effects of that medication. They will tell you what the contents are. But now we are given something that has not been tested on animals. And we are not told what are the contents. And we are not told what are going to be the side effects. So there has been no transparency. Now the third thing, the president, early in the year, he said nobody would be forced to take the vaccine. He repeated nobody 3 times. 3 times. Nobody will be forced. Now we are told, actually even before I come to, we are being told in parliament, I asked the president a question, whether he will be able to use his authority to defend those who are being pressurized to take the vaccine. The president somersaulted. He did not make an undertaking that what I said earlier in the year still holds. He didn't say that. He somersaulted. He changed his tune. Now, if he was transparent, he would have said to us, for these reasons, even though I thought, and my personal opinion was nobody should be forced, but for these reasons, I've changed my mind. Now, we don't know whether it is just political gimmicks, or the president has changed his mind, or he was just misleading the public. We don't know. That's why we want answers from the president.
Reverend, when you addressed that with the president, it was during a Q&A session, and you were shut down very quickly, not only by the president, but by other members of parliament who were really speaking to moving South Africa forward. We've lost so many lives already, and the vaccine is a solution to rebuilding our country, rebuilding the economy, and ensuring that less people are dying. Now, when it comes to the political gimmicks that you speak of, as you speak of the president on one end, what would you say to a person who believes that perhaps you yourself may be playing politics?
You know, I will not agree with you when you say the vaccine is the solution. I will not agree with you for a number of reasons. Number one, there has been information that has been given to the public that the vaccine does not protect you from getting infections.
Correct.
That's why people are told, continue observing all the health protocols, because the vaccine will not protect you from being infected. And we know that there are people who have been infected, even after they were vaccinated. That's the first thing. So I don't agree with your statement. And secondly, we are now being told that within around 6 months, the vaccine will be losing its strength. And so people must go for another dose. And now again we are told there is going to be a booster to ensure that what's given to people is not strong enough. Why the hurry? They should have ensured that this thing is reliable by testing it with the animals. And the former Minister of Health, Dr. Kize, told us that it takes an average of 10 years to manufacture and to come up with a vaccine. The vaccines that we received as children were not given in 3 months. They were not manufactured in 3 months. They were tested on animals so that there would be a guarantee that they are safe. Now, we are told something that we don't see with our eyes, even though others would argue and say, talk about the efficacy, all right? But there are people who are getting sick. There are people who are losing their lives. Now, there was a doctor, Dr. Egerling, with us at the march. As a neurosurgeon, he also spoke and said, I wrote a letter to the president is not responding, because I don't agree with this. What I have a problem with, and what many people in the ACDP have a problem with, is that people are not allowed to ask questions, to talk about this, to discuss what is happening in the country regarding COVID vaccinations. There is a Dr. Foslo who is being vilified for opening his mouth, of sharing his differences with the approach that's being taken.
Reverend Meshoe, pardon me if you'll allow me to interrupt you there. COVID-19, as you and I speak, is not a South African problem. It's a global problem. We have the World Health Organization being the main anchor here, trying to find some solutions. What do you believe would have happened had we waited 10 years? How many lives would have been lost?
You know, there are countries that have said there is a drug that is called a wonder drug by the World Health Organization, a wonder drug. That drug helps people when they have the challenges with infection. So ivermectin, for whatever reason, the South African government is refusing to make ivermectin easily available when the World Health Organization calls it a wonder drug. We know that there was a time last year when people were dying in high numbers in India. We saw it on the screens. People were dying in India. And then the doctors, after they stopped the many people from dying, they said 97% credit is given to the use of ivermectin. So I'm saying, if at all there is a disease that is killing people, allow whatever is available on the market to be used, particularly something that has been sanctioned by the World Health Organization. Allow it to be used so that lives can be saved. But for some reason, SAPRA is refusing. Now, we are curious whether there is an agenda or what is the reason behind this. When other countries are saying we are using this thing successfully, South Africa does not want to use it. When other countries are telling people you must boost your immune system, other countries are talking about use vitamin C, D, and zinc to help boost your immune system. Nobody in South Africa, speaking on behalf of government, would say it. The president doesn't want to talk about it. The minister of health doesn't want to talk about it. We ask questions why there is no transparency.
As you and I speak, Reverend, the government has a goal of achieving and ensuring that at least 70% of South Africans are vaccinated by the end of the year. We've lost lives, households have been left without breadwinners, and people are getting hospitalized. While the vaccine may not stop one from being infected with COVID-19, it surely does do some work in reducing the rate at which one could pass away. So it does do something. It's not to say that the COVID-19 jab will not assist you in any way. It alleviates it does something in your body. Will you, or are you willing to take responsibility now for the growing number of anti-vaxxers in South Africa? Is the ACDP now a party with an election agenda in terms of electioneering, a party of anti-vaxxers? Is that what you are positioning yourself as you go into the elections? Or is there some sort of misunderstanding on my part?
Well, sounds like there is a misunderstanding on your part. If you remember what the march was about on Saturday, the march was not against vaccines. I have never, and I don't think ACDP members would say nobody should be vaccinated, nobody was assisted by the vaccine. Nobody has said that. And I want to emphasize that so that every listener will get it clear. What we don't agree with is the use of force. Mm-hmm. These mandatory vaccines, I believe it goes against our constitutional rights. We've come out of a past where we did not have a choice. I could not choose a doctor to consult because you come to the surgery, it's whites only. I could not choose the school I wanted to attend. Okay? That was apartheid. But now we are being told, and we are hearing from the news, that there are employers who are saying, if you are not vaccinated, you will not come. You will not be welcomed on our property. There are universities now, that is one of them, who are saying, we want people to discuss this matter because what we really want is that every student must be vaccinated. Now, if you are going to say to students, if you are not vaccinated, you are not welcome on campus, how is that different from the apartheid government years ago, University of Pretoria? You want to attend the university. Mm-hmm. They say you're not allowed on this campus because of your color. Go to Teflo in Limpopo or other universities. All right? I'm saying give people a choice. The ACDP says give people a choice. Those who want to use ivermectin, mm-hmm. make it available. Let people use ivermectin because they want it. And those who don't want it and you want to use the vaccine, fine, get your vaccine, but nobody should be forced to do what they don't want to do.
And very lastly, before we run out of time, Reverend, in exercising your constitutional rights, have you been vaccinated?
Me? I've said it many times. I have not been vaccinated, and I will not be vaccinated. Unless if you say you are going to send a dozen soldiers to hold my hands, and you do that, maybe they will succeed for that. But willingly, I will not do that. Why? Because I'm healthy. Why do I need it for? Because I'm healthy. You remember, even last year, when they said, when they announced that I was positive, and it was false results. I must say again, it's false results, okay? Because I have never been sick. Find me somebody anywhere in the world who has been truly positive for more than 12 months, not a single symptom. Mm. So why should I subject myself to something that was not tested on animals? Only what has been tested on animals can go into my body if necessary, but I don't want to be a guinea pig.
As we go into the local government elections, I mean, we're only a few days away. Much of what I've personally heard from the ACDP in terms of the very strong messaging speaks to vaccines. Is that your strategy going into elections, speaking to that, retaliating against vaccines, or are there any other factors that you're pushing as you go into the local government elections?
You know, this local government election is about service delivery. Mm-hmm. We talk about service delivery, and there are some stations, there are some TV channels that have gone through our manifesto without saying anything, asking questions about the vaccine. here is the challenge. Some people are saying, but why are you talking so much about the vaccine? My answer, simple answer is, if I'm asked a question about that, like I was asked a question about it this morning, should I say, I don't know, I don't want to talk to you, what must I do? So I'm answering questions. If we go on a campaign and people ask questions, those questions must be answered regardless of what the questions are about.
Very well. We're going to have to leave it there for now. You and I could have spoken for at least another 5 hours, but we don't have that time. ACDP leader Reverend Kenneth Meshoe, thank you so much for your input there.